Fly Tyers, welcome to another episode of Angler Maid's Aaron at the Fly Desk. Today we're going to tie an early spring fly that I call the Red Wonder Leech. This one we're using a number 10 hook with a 1/8 bead. There's a company called Rivers Wild that makes some pretty cool products, and they've come up with a bead that's actually red, which is really cool, kind of a red metallic color. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to get some strung marabou black, and what I like to do is find kind of the more fluffy pieces because it looks a lot better in the water. So we'll cut a little piece off here, and then typically what I like to do is run that all the way up to the front of my hook. And then I bring my thread all the way back to where the barb of the hook sits. So you can see that's nice and fluffy like that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some red crystal flash. And what I do is I just pull out one strand of it and I fold it over in half, and I put two strands on one side, then I go to the other side of the fly. Whoops, butchered that. And I put two strands on the other side of the fly as well. I believe red is a trigger for fish, triggers more strikes, so anytime you can put a little bit of red or orange in a fly, I think it's a good thing. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some red wire. Whoops. Lay that all the way up to the bead once again. Like so. Okay. Now I like to get this blood leech color. It's kind of a dark purplish, black, red, all mixed together. And this one's by Troutsman, but a whole bunch of different companies make this blood leech color. And what I like to do is taper it, so not very much material on the back, but as I move forward with it, I start building it up and get pretty liberal with it right to the front here, like so. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll get our red wire and we simply just start running that evenly through the fly. And I don't like to space it too close because I'm going to get a wire brush here in a minute and brush it out through this red wire, and it makes it look nice and buggy. Another tip is I typically tie with two sets of scissors. I've got a fine point here, and then these are kind of old worn out scissors, and that's what I use to cut my wire, because then I don't have to ruin another set of scissors. So then what I do is I push that cut down and make a nice black collar on the fly. Like so. Then we'll whip finish. Alright, don't turn the video off yet. Now what we're going to do is I get this fancy wire brush that you can buy at a hardware store or craft store, and I start brushing the heck out of this fly. I want all that material to come through my wire all the way around the fly. And then I start flowing it back. And you can see what it does is it kind of gives it a woolly bugger effect. You'll see a lot of my videos are titled Better Than a Woolly Bugger. And the simple reason is if you tie a typical woolly bugger, sometimes that hackle gets pretty stiff and it doesn't pulsate through the water. Whereas if you use, either leech yarn or some good dubbing like this, it tends to look a lot more natural in the water and give the fly a nice buggy look. So that, my friends, is the Red Wonder Leech pattern. Really good to use in dark water, murky water, after ice off. Sometimes the water gets a little murky as all those creeks are running into it with the runoff. And when you pull this fly through, it tends to stand out a lot better. It gives a way better silhouette in the darker water and trigger a lot of strikes. So fish really like this fly. So thank you for watching another episode of Angler Main's Aaron at the Fly Desk.